The historic Dupree School in Ashford has existed for over 100 years as a one-room schoolhouse educating the children of Ashford until around the 1950s. Now some major changes are on the way. News 4's Jacqueline Lambert joins us to talk about this ongoing change for the Dupree School. Jacqueline, what does this mean for the school's future?
Well, Kinsley, potentially big things coming for the Dupree School. The historic Dupree School is entering a new phase of development, which will turn this school into a community center. The center will be home to programs for farmers and extension education, as well as the arts and music. Steve Smith is the board chairman for the historic Dupree School project. He hosted a meeting with those influential in turning this dream into a reality.
When you come to telling the story of the American farmer and the Southeast Alabama farmer, but also writing those new chapters, you couldn't ask for a better place to provide support than a rural American schoolhouse that's been on the same crossroads for over 100 years, surrounded by crops.
Now, as you may be able to tell, phase one of the project has already started, replacing old wood on the outside of the building and giving it a new paint job. Phase two of changing the inside of the building to a more modern Dupree School is on the way. Live in Ashford, I'm Jacqueline Lambert, your hometown news leader.
Jacqueline Lambert, thank you. State Senator Donnie Chastain, Representative Paul Lee, and Ashford Mayor Carol Barfield were all at the meeting this afternoon.